For the rest of the episodes moving forward, I will overanalyze one thing from the intro because I can't really think of anything else to do for the intros of these videos, so this is the best I can do. Anyways, in the start of the intro, we have the introduction of Roger that I think is really well done. We learn everything we need to know about him at the beginning of the show, and it saves us from sitting through Kobe or someone else going on a 5-minute yap session on why he's so important. We learn everything we need to know in a short amount of time, so this easily gets a 10 out of 10 from me. Anyways, on to the actual episode.
What a day! It's gorgeous!
As long as we can stay on this heading, we should reach the marine base in no time at all.
Wow, Kobe, you're...
If we add up everything Luffy's done in a day, then it kinda makes sense why he's so happy. He starts his pirate journey, meets Kobe, beats Alvida, and he's going to Shell's Town. And everything that happens there happens in the same day. Heck, you can even argue Orange Town fits in that day, but I personally think it happens at least one day after Shell's Town.
You know, there's really nothing to be so giggly about, because at the marine base, they're holding the great pirate hunter, Roronoa Zoro.
This scene gets us right back into the action where we left off on. In like 10 seconds, we get reminded that we're going to Shell's Town, get another mention of Zoro, get more of Luffy's upbeat and cheery mood, and more of Kobe being nervous and scared all the time. So this is a great start to the episode. Also, I'll mention it here, so expect minor spoilers throughout all of the episodes on stuff from pre-timeskip and some of post-timeskip. If there's any major spoilers, then I'll let you guys know, so this is the only warning I'll give.
This is the man who's diced up his bounties like an animal bent on carnage, a bloodthirsty beast. He's been called nothing less than a living, breathing demon in human form.
Looking back at the scene, it's really great. We get our first impressions of Zoro, which make him seem plain evil and like the worst person we've seen so far. And this also helps greatly with the whole idea about who the real villains of the show are and the corruption in the Marines. But we'll go into that more later.
The man in charge of this base is named Captain Morgan. I understand if they're scared of Zoro, but why did they flip when I mentioned the Marine Captain's name?
So remember like 10 seconds ago when I mentioned the Marine corruption thingy? Well, we get our first look into that here. In a scene earlier that I didn't show, all the townsfolk were really scared of Zoro, but they also got really scared of Morgan. So the viewer would probably be really confused on what's going on with the town, and it also gives us some good foreshadowing for one of the main ideas in the arc.
That hood on his head, and a haramaki. It's Roronoa Zoro.
We finally get introduced to Zoro, and I absolutely love his introduction. For all of this episode so far, and some of last episode, we have been hearing little details of Zoro that make him seem like a pure villain, as Kobe said, and now we just see him tied there. That's also added on with Zoro being all beat up and hurt to just make this such a cool scene, and he's probably my favorite character introduction in the entire show. Like, not even Luffy's better than this guy.
No one likes a bully. Roronoa Zoro, you seem to be handling this well. Don't you agree?
Now we get introduced to Helmeppo, and I swear I hate this guy as much as I hate Konohamaru. It's just how cocky he is, and how much of a crybaby this guy is, and for like no reason he just bullies this little girl. But I guess it does make him a good character, because the whole point of him being in the story is to be a horrible guy. But I still won't pretend this guy's like a top tier character. The only thing I will give him credit for is that he makes Zoro a more developed character, and I guess it gets better in the Kobe flashback, but we'll see how that goes when we get there.
It's mostly a ball of mud.
Shut up and give it to me, now!
Should have listened to me.
It was good. Thanks for the food.
Zoro eating Rika's food off the floor is the first moment we see him being a really good guy, and I don't think you guys want me to bring up the whole corruption thing again, so I'll just leave it off here.
Step aside! Step aside! Make way for my beautiful pet doggy! Anyone who doesn't move, I'll have executed!
This gives the viewer an even greater reason to hate Helmeppo, which is always a good thing, but I don't think this is a dog buddy. Looks like something out of TMNT. Also, later on in this flashback, we get to see Zoro being a good guy, which further develops his character as a pretty good guy.
I'm hungry! Bring us whatever you got and keep the check for yourself. And bring me a bottle of your finest moonshine.
Just by looking at the Marines, you can tell that they hate what they're doing, but that they know that they have to do it. And this is also some real subtle foreshadowing for when the Marines celebrate after Morgan is defeated. So I doubt that more than 10% of viewers saw this little detail, but it really helps to show the fact that the Marines actually hated Morgan, and that this wasn't a last minute thing that the animators added.
I suppose I could execute Zoro.
Luffy hitting Helmeppo here is so satisfying, and it makes sense narratively too. We've learned from last episode how much Luffy values bravery, and it hasn't really shown it yet, but we do know that Luffy also values loyalty and sticking to your word. I mean, it's literally why an entire saga happened, and hearing Helmeppo go back on his word enrages him. Also, all we've been shown of Helmeppo is that he's a horrible person, and it's so satisfying to see him get punched in the face. In conclusion, great scene narratively, and I love this scene because I love Helmeppo getting hit.
Yeah. Great.
Yes, sir. You're right, Captain Morgan, sir.
And yet the taxes we collect don't even compare to my sheer degree of greatness.
Yes, right, sir. I guess that the citizens' wallets just aren't very deep these days, sir.
This is another great introduction, and this one's from Morgan. In just a few seconds, we learn that Morgan is self-centered. And later in this clip that I did not show, we learn that he's pretty evil. Like, he wants to raise taxes because he thinks he's cool. That's gotta be evil. We hate tax. Oh wait, never mind, US government. I love taxes.
I made a promise to her. And I can't afford to die in a place like this.
We get a little glimpse into Zoro's backstory, and I guess it's alright for what it's worth. All we really get is a look at Kuina, and it cuts out right before we get the full thing. Also, for the 20 people who didn't know, Zoro's backstory was fully shown here in the manga, but it got changed to episode 17 or 19 of the anime. Like Luffy's backstory with Shanks, I'm not too sure if this was the best decision, but I do think in this case it was a good one. I feel like the first 3 to 5 episodes of an anime are the most important for keeping the viewer watching, so making sure that the entire thing is entertaining is really important. Sure, I wouldn't care if the backstory happened right now, but the general public might actually care. Anyways, enough of down these stairs. Let's just continue.
That's it! Stop right there! Now stand it up in one final pull!
There's no way that this got up here. Like, I'm not the best at math or geometry, but I know that there's zero chance that this statue is fitting through that door. And even if they did bring the stone up here, how did they even carve it up here? Anyways, I couldn't really find a clip to use for me talking about the scene right before this, where Luffy tells Zoro that he's gonna go find his swords, and that he wants Zoro to join his crew. But I really like this scene. It has Luffy being an idiot, Zoro aura farming, and just a cool scene in general. But there's just one little thing I need to show you.
Hey, genius! The base is in the other direction.
Gum, rocket!
Zoro gave Luffy directions. What anime is this? Not my One Piece. I'll scene 0 to 10 episode. This sucks!
You're a stupid fool. Who isn't even worth hitting.
Morgan hitting Helmeppo is amazing. First of all, I think everyone's happy to see Helmeppo getting what he deserves, and the only other person we've seen to destroy Helmeppo while the Marines were also terrified is Luffy. So giving Morgan a similar moment shows that he might actually be a real threat to Luffy, and having more attention for a fight is always a good thing.
Look, kid, I can't leave. I got 10 days left, and then they're...
Well, not quite. They're gonna execute you tomorrow.
The what?
This hits so much harder once you've watched more of the show and seen who Zoro is and how much he cares about loyalty and sticking with your word. I mean, just seeing how dedicated he becomes for Luffy after joining his crew shows this so well. He definitely felt betrayed from Helmeppo, and when he finds out how mad Luffy got and the fact that he punched Helmeppo, definitely made Zoro think more highly of Luffy, and that's probably one of the main reasons he decided to join his crew.
What?
told you I was strong!
Who the hell are you?
My name's Monkey D. Luffy, and I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
The ending of this episode is so amazing on so many levels. Like, Luffy coming in to save Zoro not only makes you want to watch more to find out what happens next, but it's just so much aura on so many levels. And this image with Luffy is so good that it became the thumbnail of this episode. Anyways, that's the end of the episode. Overall, this episode was amazing. The pacing was great with nothing dragging on for too long while also giving some time to develop Zoro, Helmeppo, and Morgan. Also, Zoro is one of my favorite characters in all of fiction, so that definitely helped this episode in my ranking. Also, Kobe and the viewers start slowly learning about the corruption in the Marines, and this starts a great plot point that will have an effect through the entire show. Now, with all those positives and virtually no negatives, I have to give this episode a 10 out of 10. The only thing is that this episode made me realize that a 9.5 was way too high for last episode, so I'm going to lower it to an 8. Also, from now on, I'm going to be looking at each episode individually, so I will not be taking into account stuff that happens in the future. So, like, for example, if Oda foreshadows something is going to happen in 100 episodes from now, I'm not going to take that foreshadowing into account. Anyways, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Next episode, Morgan vs. Luffy. Who's the mysterious pretty girl?